What's up everyone, my name's Kev, I'm with Unity Web, and in this series we are going to recreate these logos in Illustrator, so let's get started. Alright, right away we are going to make a new artboard, 1080 by 1080, it doesn't really matter as long as it's a square, and let's jump right into our first one here. So we're going to start off with a circle in the middle. We can do, let's do about 850 pixels in the middle, and we will center this away. We will make this one our outside one. We'll give that a stroke weight of maybe 20. Let's do Control C and Control F on our keyboard, Shift X to switch those to the fill and the stroke, and then let's bring this down to let's do 800 to start. We'll do Control C and Control F again, and then let's do, what's 800 minus 150, maybe 650 or so. Control C, Control F, which will take us to 500. Control C, Control F, and that'll take us to about 350. So we can start adding some of our color here. This will start coming to life rather quickly. Alright, looking good so far. Let's do our water. We're gonna make a center point here. We'll drag a rectangle out there, just at each side, and then we'll make this rectangle, say, 75 pixels or so. Now, let's switch to our outline mode. Center that just to make me feel better. And let's make sure we have a few of these. We need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hitting Control D on my keyboard to do that. Let's make sure those are all lined up, which they're not. So let's make sure they're all lined up perfectly this time. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Looking good. And we can start coloring the water in as well. We get our sand. And finally, our grass. Now we want to double check that all of these are pretty good there. Let's make sure they're all aligned at the bottom there. Just like so. So then from here, we want to hold shift and then click this outermost filled circle, then continue holding shift, hit M on your keyboard, that's shift M, hold alt, and then just drag around the side here to trim all of those pieces. Let's select everything, shift select the outer stroke, and come over to our Pathfinder options and hit trim. So that way each one of these pieces are now its own individual piece. So that is the most of the logo done up already. So let's work on our palm trees next. For the palm trees, we're gonna want a rectangle yay big or so to start off with the first one. We're gonna hit plus on our keyboard to make a point right in the middle. Hit minus and delete the outer two guys there. And then we're gonna come over here to one of my favorite tools in Illustrator, the Puppet Warp tool. We're gonna delete these points, and we're just gonna have 3 points, top, bottom, and a middle. And we'll take our middle point there, drag it out to the side, create a little curve in our tree. All right, we are looking good so far. So next, for the palm fronds at the top, let's color our tree in too. Let's actually grab this bottom circle here. This bottom green circle, Control C, Control V. All right, let's hit Shift C on our keyboard to bring up the curvature tool. And we'll grab this path here and bring it in just a hair. Back to our selection tool. Let's actually shorten this a little bit. Yeah, there we go, there we go. Let's rotate this around and make it a bit smaller. Bring it over here and make sure all of this lines up perfectly. All right, so now we want to hit R on our keyboard and hit this anchor point here, hold Alt, grab this path, and kind of just pull up. With R still, the rotate tool still on, hit that anchor point again, and then holding Alt, rotate up again. So then let's group this, Control G, and we will Control C, Control F. Over to our properties here, we'll flip that and make sure this gets right there. Let's actually hit R on our keyboard there to rotate around that, and then we can just bring this all the way down like that. Perfect. She is looking pretty good. Not as perfect as the first one, but that is okay. So the next thing we can do, we can always kind of rotate this a little bit down as well. Yeah, now she's looking a little bit better. So let's take all of this, group that together. Let's flip that and reflect it. Bring that over to the side, and then we can make it a little bigger too. Maybe we shrink this one down a little bit. And yeah, the perspective might be a little bit off on this one compared to the first one, but that is okay. So let's take this bottom one here again, Control C, Control F. Let's bring in these side pieces here and bring that up a little bit. And this will be our hammock. We can even rotate our hammock a little bit, give it a little bit more. Yeah, no. Let's hit Shift C, maybe even curve that a little bit more as well. We can bring this over. Maybe make it look like the thing's right at the side. So that is looking pretty good to me, if you ask me. So let's work on the last couple pieces, the birds and the text. We'll do the text first. The text font is Tiki Tropic up here at the top, and that should already be selected for us. So we will just type in the beach. Now for here, we want to make sure that our fill and our stroke are both unfilled. And then we're going to go to our appearance panel. We're going to give it a new fill and a new stroke. Our first fill is going to be our lovely blue. Our stroke, as you can see, we want it to be pretty thick. We want it to be white. But the biggest thing is we need it to be underneath that fill. So then we need to make another, not fill, another stroke. This time bringing this all the way down to the bottom. And we can make this stroke that same blue the first time. I actually want to take this middle white one. Let's half that at 16. So that way we have our fill, a stroke weight of 16, and then a stroke weight of 32. So now if we come up to Effect, with our text selected, hit a warp and flag, and we should get all of it. Let's go back up here, make sure the entire type is selected. Go to Effects, Warp from our Appearance panel, then click Flag, and there we go. So right at about 30% is what I have this one on, so we'll click 30%. We will bring that down in front of everything. All right, first things first, we're going to make sure this is on the proper layer, that's for sure. And we're going to bring that all the way to the front, center it, and that is looking pretty good if you don't mind asking me. So make it a little bit bigger, it doesn't really matter. So then the last part is actually the easiest part, and that's going to be our lovely birds. So we're going to hit P on our keyboard for the pen tool, make one dot here, hold shift, go a little bit to the right, We want to make sure that we have an empty fill. I'm just hitting / on my keyboard to get there, the one that is with the question mark. And then we want to make sure that our stroke is honestly only at about like 1. So hit Shift C on our keyboard again for the curvature tool, curve that a little bit up. And then we want to hit Control C, Control F on our keyboard, or Alt and over. It doesn't really matter too much how you do some of these things. Control J to join those two paths. We want to make sure our caps are nice and soft. And then hitting Shift W on our keyboard to bring up the width tool. We'll take in the edges of our bird's wings here all the way in, and then go in the middle, bring it just a little bit out. Perfect. Make sure our stroke is black. And there we go. There's our first little bird. Make him a little bigger, and we'll give him a pretty thick weight. Give him like a 5. Maybe he is rotated. He's flying that way a little bit. Let's give him a buddy. And give them all a little bit of a buddy. Knock that stroke weight down a little bit. Knock this down a little bit as well. But maybe we make this guy a little smaller. Maybe we make him pretty small as well. And we can give him a really small. There we go. Look how 3D that looks. This looks great. So let's let's select all our birds here. Let's bring them maybe over here and flip these. And just like that, we are done. You can go a little bit further here and do tweaks, and you can do some things like come back over to our tree, and you can adjust the outside anchor points of the leaves. Maybe you want to bring these in a little bit and round those off by, just a point or two to make them a little bit better. We can move our tree over. See, it's a little bit on the edge there. But for the most part, there you have it, folks. This has been the first episode in this logo design series. My name is Kev. Again, I'm with UnityWeb. You can find us more at unityweb.co. Until next time, have a good one.